Hi, everybody. I'm here today with Monica, and we were actually talking about the subject we're going to talk about today, like for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And we didn't go
We're
live.
into it.
Yeah, it was like so interesting. First of all, it's today is the 8th of April, and we had eclipse. I'm in
Yeah.
California. Monica is in
North Dallas area. So I actually was in the path of totality. It was
yeah,
really cool. It was
yes.
really cool. Yeah.
I didn't notice any changes. I didn't have the glasses, so and I was on Zoom, so I'm sorry I cannot report on anything at
Well,
my.
I can say it was like actual dark outside. Like we have those solar lights that turn on, like and street lights were turning on, and it
Right.
was like
Oh my
1:30 in
God.
the afternoon. It was so cool. Yeah. I didn't think it was going to be anything super awesome, but I get it now. There's a lot of hype for a reason.
So today we're going to explore if you're tired of feeling burned out at work and constantly resenting your partner, what
Mhm.
is the root of these, I guess, traumas or hyper independence that we call that? So we're going to explore that. So go ahead, Monica, if you'd like to open it up with this.
Yeah. So one pattern that I oftentimes see in the clients that I work with is that they have a narrative of it's on me, like I have to do it all, or nobody can help me, or it takes more effort to ask for what I need or to train somebody to help me with what I need. Um, it's just easier if I do it myself. Or that phrase, like, if you want something done well, you do it yourself, right?
Exactly.
And so I see a lot of these beliefs in the folks that I work with. And what can sometimes happen in this way is that this difficulty with asking for what you need, receiving support, it's oftentimes birthed out of a painful past experience where somebody disappointed you, they let you down, they didn't meet your needs adequately. And so you take it on yourself, you become super independent or hyper independent. But what can happen is, even though it was a good thing to learn how to take care of yourself because nobody was doing it before, that may have been a good thing back then. What we can actually do is over apply that pattern now in our present day situations and scenarios. Or another way that I see this happening is we can be really independent and have to be independent at work because maybe there's a lack of support with our supervisor or our colleagues. So we become hyper independent at work. And then we come home and we struggle to ask for what we need or receive support from our partners, which then can lead to this disconnect or resentment at home. So this pattern of hyper independence, even though it started out being helpful and adaptive way of you getting your needs met, could actually turn into some more loneliness, disconnect, dissatisfaction, and burnout. So that's one of the things that I see
Yeah.
often, and I just feel like this is an important topic we should talk about.
Yeah,
So
exactly. I mean, I totally get it. I was in that space many years ago. As an entrepreneur, I've
yeah.
always thought that, if I don't do this, then they're not going to do it. And I carried it to my personal with my life partner. So I totally understand it. Uh, and at the same time, the limiting belief about I'm alone and
Mhm.
there is nobody loves me, that kind of has a core. It's a deep uh, way of being.
Mhm.
And when I work with my clients, we look at that as a 3 year or 4 year, or as we go to that younger self,
Yeah.
and we see what has happened in that space, in that time, that carried this over, that nobody's there for me. That's what
Mhm.
exactly you're talking about. So then you become more super independent,
Yeah.
and you think that if you don't do this, then it's not going to get done.
Mhm.
Um, so
And
the
I often see it with like a sense of urgency too, right? Like almost the sense of immediacy. Like I need to do this right now. If I don't do this, if I don't do this, right, then
never
something
gets
yeah,
done.
yes, it'll never get done. I'll be more overwhelmed. Whatever. We have all these what ifs could happen. Um, but this hyper independence, again, because it's a trauma response, it's oftentimes coupled with this fight or flight urgency, right? Like has to get done right away. Can't relax, can't slow down, can't ask for help, can't teach anybody how to help me kind of
Yeah,
mentality.
it takes more time to teach someone than if I
Yeah.
do it myself.
Yeah,
I
and
used to,
sometimes that may be true, and I always, I want to honor that and just acknowledge that may be true. Oftentimes, the people that I work with are really good at what they do, and so to take the time to train somebody and bring them on board or catch them up to their speed, it can be time intensive, right? Um, but what I try to tell my folks to do is look for something you can let go of. What is something you can let somebody help you with? It
yeah,
may not be the biggest thing on your to-do list, but I always challenge my folks like, hey, if somebody's asking, is there anything I can do to help you? I challenge my clients to find something to say yes. Oh,
that I tell my clients, boundaries, set
yeah.
the boundaries, honor your needs without pushing people away, but at the same time, speak to them in a loving way and tell them exactly what your needs are. I mean, if you don't get to that space at home, then how can you get to that space at work, or
Yeah,
vice versa?
and vice
And
versa.
vice
Absolutely. Yep,
versa.
because you take yourself everywhere you go. So I will generally tell my clients, like, start in the place where you feel safest. If you feel that your partner is truly, has your best intentions at heart and they're a safe partner, then start asking for support there first. Release some of that burden and some of that burnout, get some relief from that, so that then maybe at work you can try that skill out, right? But
Yes,
I generally would say start wherever it's safer. So if you're the CEO, you're the boss, it may be safer for you to try and ask for help
that's
at work. Yeah, or yeah, you said home, but if you have all these people who are underneath you in your hierarchy or in your ladder, and they are, your office assistant and your marketing manager or whatever, right? Then their entire job is to support you, right? So in some ways, if you are the CEO of your corporation, like letting and trusting the people you brought into your team help you, I mean, maybe it's the safest place to start, or maybe it is home. Yeah.
yes. But the other thing is the self-care part.
Yes.
So if for you not to become that anxious way of being because you have so much on your plate at home or at work, then I recommend my people to my clients to at least take that 10-15 minutes a day to get that alone time, get to be conscious. Okay, so what do I need now? Maybe it would be as simple as getting a cup of coffee. In that space of walking to get coffee, uh, maybe your thoughts will be kind of calm down. Give yourself that 5 minutes. Even if you're drinking your coffee, maybe you go outside and just give that so yourself a break.
Yeah.
Because when you get to that space, then it's easier to decide if I want to tell my assistant to do this versus I do it myself. Because when you're in that like go go go, then there is no thinking, okay, what am I going to do that's best for me? But if
Yeah.
you get that break and have that 5-10 minutes, then you can decide which one is the best way, which scenario is the best way for you to not to get to that space of anxiety.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like a little alignment check, right? You're just checking in with yourself and sensing into what you need. And for a lot of folks who use hyper independence to help them be successful at work, they can sometimes be pretty disconnected from their needs. So having these points in their day where they can check in with themselves and say, what do I need? What do I want? Whether it's like a forced mental check-in with themselves or with their partner, like, hey, partner, what do you need? Right. So that
Yeah,
we're aligning to each other, and then we can ask one another, hey, is that something you need me to support you with, or is that a need that you have that you need to support yourself with? Right? Like if you need alone time, that may be a need you have to take on responsibility for and do for yourself, versus if you need me to pick up the kids to help you out, that's a different ball game, right? So but just checking in with one another as a couple, and assessing what are our needs as a couple, can certainly help you to feel more resourced, so that
yeah.
when you go to work again, you can have some practice reps under your belt, and do this better at work too.
I have an example. I
Yeah.
was talking to a client of mine, and for him to get home from work, he needed some time to be alone, like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour. And he felt obligated as soon as he gets home, he had to interact with the wife, to do this, that, the
Mhm.
chores. So I recommended, why don't we look at it this way? If you come in and you have this conversation with her, either in the morning or the night before, that, when I get home, I still have that, you know, anxiousness, or and that like go 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 place of
Yeah.
being at work. So I need so 15, 20 minutes of my time to be by myself, even if it's watching TV or whatever, it
Mhm.
calms you down and it relaxes you.
Yep.
And I said, why don't you try having that conversation with her and see when and how it works out for both of you.
Mhm.
And then after that, then yes, of course, you can. It takes half an hour, whatever it is, then you can go interact with the kids, or and I'm sure that she would want the same thing at some
Sure.
point. You can, you can take care of the the
Yeah,
household.
yeah, man the fort. Yeah.
And exactly. So he did, and it was like, oh my god, I can't believe this. And so as soon as he did have that conversation, and I said the conversation has to come from the side that you're vulnerable, that
Yeah.
you talk from your heart, that you kind of say that I mean, not
This is a
order, but
need. Yeah,
this is,
this is a need. I
yeah,
need this. Yeah.
yes. And so he did that, and every day he would get home. She would make sure that he has that alone time with himself, and it worked out. I
Yeah.
mean, if the partner is there to be with you and help you or help each other, then when you have that conversation that comes deeply from the space of interaction, that it's loving,
Yes.
then it will work out.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I just have to name like that can be so challenging for someone who like your client who's like, "Oh my gosh, it works." Right? Because there can be such this mindset that like there isn't help. Nobody will help me. Nobody wants to help me. Nobody can help me, right? And so there really is this belief of I'm on an island and it's up to me to figure it out. And so yeah, having those little tests where you're sort of saying, test it, like try it out, like run an experiment, see how it goes. Maybe you take 15 minutes, let your partner know, hey, I'm gonna go walk around the neighborhood after I get out of my car, get the
Yeah,
mail, right,
anything.
whatever, 10 minutes to walk around, and then I'm gonna come in, right. But once they test it and they see that it works, right, that helps us so much to come out of that story that nobody will help me, because you get to experience that somebody can and is willing to help you and support you and loves you and wants to release some of that burden for you. And that can be so healing to that nervous system who really in its best intentions is trying to help you to keep your own head above water even though you're exhausted.
Yeah,
So
and then when you open the door, you can open the door with a smile instead of being, still back in
sort of
that
like,
space of,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, burnt out. Yeah, exactly.
yeah. So it's amazing. It's amazing how when we sit down and really think about, write down what our needs are,
Mhm.
which that's and when we don't ignore our needs and we don't
Yeah, and they
kind of
can be
push
so
it aside.
simple. Such simple things. I like I said, when I give this challenge to my clients, I say the next person who asks you if they can help you, find something to give them to say yes, right? Even the people at the store when we're walking around, can I help you find anything? You're like, no, I got it, right? No, I challenge my clients. The next time you hear those words out of somebody's mouth and they say, can I help you? You say, yes, I'm actually looking for the butter, even though you know where the butter is. Just
Yes.
practice letting somebody help you, receiving that support, and notice how it feels.
Yeah, or the one thing that I told one of my clients was, when you're on the plane and you have your carry-on,
Yeah.
and it's hard to put it on the
Yeah.
bin up on
Put in the
top.
bins. Yeah.
And
Uh-huh.
if yes, if somebody says, "Can I help you? Do you need help?" Yes, say yes, because they're, if they didn't want to, they wouldn't ask you, and it
Yes.
actually will help you go. People sit on their seats faster because then you're not in the middle of
Yeah, and
trying to
then you
figure
don't
out
feel
what to
that ick of, "Oh my gosh, they're all watching me struggle," right?
say.
Exactly. Again, just receiving it, right? Saying,
Yes.
"Yes, I mean, maybe I am capable of getting it up there, but why deny the help? Why deny the support?
Yeah.
Why would I let myself struggle with something that if I had help could be made easier, you know?
And by
Let
the
it be
way,
easier."
if you know that you can't put it up there, maybe you look to your right or left and say, "You know what? Can you please help me? I
Oh,
need
that's
help."
even bigger ask for the hyper independent people. For them to initiate, it's even harder. But yeah, no, absolutely. That's that next level up, right?
Yeah. So try it
Yeah,
this
go
time.
ask for it.
Ask
Yeah,
ask for it and see
yeah,
what happens.
I love
So
it. We're challenging you all today. I love it.
super exciting topic. And I'm sure that if you have any questions, if anything that you'd like us to talk about, or you have any questions, let us know, and we will see you next week. Thank you so much, Monica, for joining.
Yeah, thank
Bye.
you.